Psychology of manipulation. Right now, someone is manipulating you. And no, I'm not talking about some shadowy figure in a dark room. I'm talking about the barista who sold you that extra shot of espresso this morning. The friend who made you feel guilty for saying no. The algorithm that kept you scrolling for 2 hours last night. Manipulation isn't just something that happens to other people. It's happening to all of us, every single day. And the scariest part? The most effective manipulation is the kind you never even notice. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it works, who uses it, and most importantly, how to protect yourself. Because once you see these patterns, you can never unsee them. Welcome back. If you're new here, this channel breaks down the psychology behind human behavior, so you can understand yourself and the people around you on a deeper level. If that sounds like something you're into, consider subscribing because we go deep every single week. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Psychologists have identified that the average person is exposed to between 410,000 manipulation attempts every single day. Most of them are small, almost invisible. But some of them can completely derail your life, your relationships, and your sense of self. The difference between those who fall victim and those who don't comes down to one thing: awareness. What is manipulation? Let's start with something uncomfortable. Manipulation and influence are not the same thing, but the line between them is thinner than you think. Every time you've ever tried to convince someone of something, you've used influence. But manipulation is influenced by a hidden agenda, where the manipulator benefits at your expense, and they don't want you to know it. Think of it this way. Influence is a handshake where both people know what's being exchanged. Manipulation is a pickpocket bumping into you while their partner lifts your wallet. The psychology community generally agrees on 3 core elements that define manipulation. First, there's intent. The manipulator knows what they're doing. Second, there's concealment. They hide their true motives from you. And third, there's exploitation. They're using your emotions, your trust, or your vulnerabilities against you. Stakes elevation. And here's why this matters more than you might think. Research from the University of California found that people who are frequently manipulated experience higher rates of anxiety, depression, and even physical health problems. Chronic manipulation literally rewires your brain, making you doubt your own perceptions. Psychologists call this reality erosion, and it's one of the most insidious effects of long-term manipulation. The 7 core manipulation tactics. Alright, let's get into the tactics. I'm going to break down the 7 most common manipulation strategies used by everyone from con artists to toxic partners to that coworker who somehow always gets you to cover their shift. Pay attention, because I guarantee you've encountered at least 5 of these in the last month. Tactic 1. Gaslighting. Relatability. Have you ever been absolutely certain something happened, only for someone to convince you that you imagined it? That's gaslighting. And it's named after a 1944 film where a husband slowly drives his wife insane by dimming the gaslights and then denying the lights ever changed. Gaslighting works by attacking your fundamental sense of reality. The manipulator denies things they said, rewrites history, and makes you question your own memory. Over time, you start relying on them to tell you what's real because you no longer trust yourself. The phrases to watch for are things like, "That never happened," "You're being too sensitive," "You're imagining things," or "Everyone agrees with me, you're the only one who thinks this way." What makes gaslighting so effective is that it exploits a psychological vulnerability we all share. Humans have a deep need for social validation of their experiences. When someone confidently tells us our perception is wrong, especially someone we trust, our brains actually start to doubt our own memories. Studies have shown that eyewitness testimony can be altered simply by introducing confident contradictory information. Tactic 2. Love bombing. Contrast. This next one is going to sound like a good thing. Imagine someone showering you with attention, affection, gifts, and constant communication. They tell you you're the most amazing person they've ever met. They want to spend every moment with you. Sounds romantic, right? It can be one of the most dangerous manipulation tactics that exists. Love bombing is the practice of overwhelming someone with affection to create rapid emotional dependency. It's used by cult leaders, narcissistic partners, and even some sales organizations. The goal is to bypass your normal vetting process and create an intense emotional bond before you've had time to evaluate the person rationally. The danger comes later. Once you're emotionally invested, the manipulator has leverage. They can withdraw affection to punish you, use your attachment to control you, or make you feel like you owe them for all they've given you. The red flag isn't receiving love. The red flag is receiving intensity that doesn't match the timeline of your relationship. Genuine connection builds gradually. Manufactured connection is rushed. Tactic 3. Guilt tripping. Self-recognition. I want you to think about the last time you did something you really didn't want to do. Not because someone forced you, but because saying no felt impossible. Chances are, guilt was involved. Guilt tripping exploits one of our most pro-social emotions. Guilt evolved to help maintain social bonds and encourage cooperative behavior. But manipulators weaponize it to override your boundaries. Classic guilt tripping sounds like "after everything I've done for you," or "I guess I'll just handle it myself, like always," or "you're the only one who can help me." What these statements have in common is that they make your refusal feel like a moral failing rather than a reasonable boundary. The psychological mechanism here is what researchers call the door-in-the-face technique combined with emotional leverage. By making you feel like a bad person for saying no, the manipulator exploits your desire to see yourself as good and caring. Tactic 4. Silent treatment and emotional withdrawal. Pain point. This one doesn't look like manipulation. In fact, it looks like nothing at all. And that's exactly what makes it so effective. The silent treatment works by triggering your fear of abandonment. Humans are social creatures who evolved in groups where exclusion meant death. When someone withdraws their presence, attention, or affection without explanation, your brain interprets it as a survival threat. Research using fMRI scans has shown that social rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. When someone gives you the silent treatment, you are experiencing something your brain processes as genuine suffering. The manipulation occurs because the silent treatment creates a power imbalance. You don't know what you did wrong. You don't know how to fix it. You don't know when it will end. This uncertainty makes you more compliant, more willing to apologize for things you didn't do, and more careful to avoid triggering it again in the future. Tactic 5. Intermittent reinforcement. Unexpected comparison. This next tactic is the exact same psychological principle that makes gambling addictive. And toxic relationships use it constantly. Intermittent reinforcement is when rewards are delivered unpredictably. Sometimes you get affection, sometimes you get coldness. Sometimes your efforts are appreciated, sometimes they're criticized. This inconsistency creates a psychological state similar to addiction. The science behind this comes from B.F. Skinner's research on operant conditioning. He found that behaviors reinforced on a variable schedule are the most resistant to extinction. In other words, when you never know if this time will be the time you get the reward, you keep trying. Forever. This is why people stay in relationships where they receive occasional moments of connection surrounded by neglect or mistreatment. Those occasional good moments become more powerful precisely because they are unpredictable. Your brain releases more dopamine in anticipation of an uncertain reward than a guaranteed one. Tactic 6. Fear-mongering. Scope expansion. This tactic isn't just used in relationships. It's the backbone of political propaganda, marketing campaigns, and media engagement. Fear-mongering manipulates by activating your amygdala, the brain's threat detection system. When you're afraid, your prefrontal cortex, the rational thinking part of your brain, becomes less active. This makes you more susceptible to accepting solutions without critically evaluating them. The pattern is simple. First, present a threat, real or exaggerated. Second, amplify the emotional response. Third, offer yourself or your product as the solution. This is used to sell everything from insurance to ideology. The defense against fear-mongering is recognizing when someone is trying to make you afraid before offering you something. Ask yourself who benefits from your fear and whether the threat is being presented proportionally to the evidence. Tactic 7. Triangulation. Social proof twist. The final core tactic exploits something we all do naturally, looking to others to validate our perceptions. Triangulation involves bringing a third party into a dynamic to manipulate you. This can look like comparing you unfavorably to others, telling you that everyone agrees with them, manufacturing jealousy, or using someone else to deliver criticism they won't say directly. The goal is to make you feel isolated, insecure, or competitive. By suggesting that others see things their way, the manipulator makes you doubt your position and feel pressure to conform. Who uses manipulation? Uncomfortable truth. Here's where I need to be honest with you. We've been talking about manipulation like it's something other people do. But the truth is more complicated. Everyone manipulates sometimes. You have. I have. The question isn't whether you've ever used these tactics. The question is whether you use them as your primary way of getting your needs met. There's a spectrum of manipulation. On one end, you have occasional, low-stakes influence attempts that most people engage in. On the other end, you have pathological manipulation that characterizes certain personality disorders. Research has identified what psychologists call the dark triad, 3 personality traits that predict manipulative behavior. The first is narcissism, characterized by grandiosity, entitlement, and lack of empathy. The second is Machiavellianism, characterized by strategic manipulation and cynical worldview. The third is psychopathy, characterized by impulsivity, callousness, and antisocial behavior. Nuance. But here's what the clickbait psychology content won't tell you. Not everyone who manipulates has a personality disorder. Sometimes manipulation is learned survival behavior. People who grew up in environments where direct communication was punished, where expressing needs was dangerous, sometimes they learn manipulation as their only tool. This doesn't excuse the behavior, but it does explain why some people manipulate without matching the profile of a calculated predator. Understanding this distinction matters because it affects how you respond. Why we fall for it. If you've ever been manipulated and wondered what's wrong with you, I want you to hear this. Being susceptible to manipulation isn't a character flaw. It often means your empathy, trust, and desire to see the good in people are being exploited. There are several psychological factors that make us vulnerable. The first is cognitive biases. We have a tendency to believe people are telling the truth, called truth bias. We have a tendency to see people we like as more trustworthy, called the halo effect. These mental shortcuts usually serve us well but can be exploited. The second factor is emotional states. When we are lonely, stressed, grieving, or going through transitions, our normal defenses are lowered. Manipulators often target people during vulnerable periods because resistance is reduced. The third factor is prior conditioning. If you grew up with manipulation as the norm, you might not recognize it. Your baseline for what's acceptable in relationships was calibrated in an environment where manipulation was standard. Validation plus empowerment. The people who get manipulated the most severely are often the ones with the most to offer. Their empathy, their loyalty, their desire to help, their ability to see potential in others. The manipulator isn't attracted to weakness. They're attracted to resources they can exploit. How to protect yourself. Actionable promise. Alright, let's talk about defense. Knowing how manipulation works is step 1. But knowledge without application is just trivia. Here's how to actually protect yourself. The first strategy is to slow down your responses. Manipulators often create urgency because urgency bypasses rational evaluation. If someone is pressuring you to decide now, that pressure is the red flag. Legitimate opportunities can wait for you to think. The second strategy is to pay attention to patterns, not incidents. Anyone can have a bad day or say the wrong thing. Manipulation reveals itself in repetition. If the same tactics keep appearing, if you keep feeling the same confused or guilty or doubtful way after interactions with the same person, that's data. The third strategy is to trust your discomfort. If something feels wrong but you can't articulate why, that feeling is information. Your unconscious mind often detects manipulation before your conscious mind can name it. Don't dismiss confusion or discomfort just because you can't explain it. Specific tools. The fourth strategy involves what psychologists call the newspaper test. Before agreeing to something, imagine the scenario described in a newspaper. Not about you, but about a stranger. Would you think that stranger was being treated fairly? This creates psychological distance that helps you evaluate situations more objectively. The fifth strategy is to build a reality-checking network. Manipulators isolate their targets because isolation removes external perspectives. Maintain relationships with people you trust to give you honest feedback. When something seems off, run it by them before concluding that you're overreacting. Not just boundaries. Stating a boundary means nothing if violating it has no consequence. The manipulator learns that your boundaries are negotiable through persistent pressure. Decide in advance what you will do, not just what you will say, when lines are crossed. Final perspective. I want to leave you with something that might seem counterintuitive. The goal isn't to become so guarded that no one can ever influence you. That kind of hypervigilance is its own prison. The goal is discernment, the ability to distinguish between people who influence you toward your own growth and people who manipulate you for their benefit. Not every persuasion attempt is sinister. Not every uncomfortable feeling means you're being manipulated. The person who challenges you to be better, who holds you accountable, who tells you truths you don't want to hear, they might make you uncomfortable too. The difference is in the direction. Are you being pulled toward your best self or away from it? Are your boundaries being respected even when they're tested? Do you feel more yourself over time or less? Understanding manipulation is a skill, and like any skill, it develops with practice. The fact that you watched this far tells me you're someone who takes your psychological education seriously. That matters. If this video helped you see something more clearly, whether it's a past relationship, a current dynamic, or just patterns you want to avoid, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you want to go deeper on human psychology, we explore topics like this every week. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and watch out for each other.